Hello, crypto boys and ghouls, and welcome back to the channel, Tales from the Cryptmancer, where we feature content on play and earn games on the blockchain, such as Splinterforge. And while this video is long overdue here, we've been actually playing Splinterforge now for about 2.5 weeks. We started playing pretty much, I think it was the second day of Splinterforge being released, and wow, we should have actually probably been playing as soon as it launched. We made some mistakes here, but I'm gonna, if you're not playing, I want to spend some time talking about this game, why you should be playing it, going through just the basics to get you started. And we'll be doing some more series around Splinterforge with gameplay and crate openings and bag openings and other things like that moving forward here on the channel, because this is a fun game. It's a great way to use your existing Splinterlands cards and collections, whether you own them or are renting them and just playing already Splinterlands. This is a great way to actually earn crypto and assets that you can use to strengthen your Splinterlands assets if you wish, or you can just keep them in Splinterforge, grow your abilities within the Splinterforge game itself, or if you wanted to cash out and take the money for ice cream, as Aftersound would say. So we're going to go through a little bit of an introduction. Like I said, this is long overdue. We'll supplement it with some battles as well, so you can see some of that here later on this video. But let's start. What is Splinterforge? Well, Splinterforge is a third-party game that's developed on the Hive blockchain alongside Splinterlands, not associated with Splinterlands. It's I guess a community or player developed solution. Is actually a very fun game that is essentially boss battles using your Splinterlands assets. Now, I'm going to leave a link in the video description below should you wish to play the game quickly and easily. The address here to access Splinterforge is simply splinterforge.io, but again, I will leave a link in the video description below. But let's just go ahead and log in here. We're going to click on the backpack here to log in. You just enter your Hive username here to log into the game. It just basically logs you in using your keychain, and it's going to basically just take a look at your cards that you have either rented or owned on your account, just to kind of take a snapshot and say, okay, these are the cards that you're eligible to use within the Splinterforge game. It doesn't do anything with your assets on Splinterlands. It's just taking a look to see, like Peak Monsters, for example, looking at the cards that you're renting or owning. So now we are here in Splinterforge. We are logged in here, and basically you're going to see this screen here. Basically, I don't know if you can see it on my screen capture, but there's going to be an icon here. It shows Forgium. This is how much Forgium you have earned in the game. And as you first get started, it'll be set to 0. And let's just take a look to see what Forgium is worth as a frame of reference here. I should say Forgium is worth. If we go to Hive Engine here, we look at tokens in Forge, you can find here, Forgium is worth 61 Splintoshis right now. DEC is worth 66 Splintoshis here. So it's basically the same value as DEC, roughly speaking, right now. And what does that mean? Why is that important? It's basically important because as you're playing Splinterforge and as you're earning Forgium with every battle that you play, you could theoretically swap that into, for example, DEC or vouchers on Hive Engine just by going into the Forgium here and basically doing a deposit, a withdrawal, or a transfer in and out of the game into Hive Engine, just like you would with Splinterlands. So basically, if you're already playing Splinterlands, you really should be playing this game is the TLDR, because, well, you can use the assets there to continue to earn. Again, you can use the Forgium in Splinterforge, or you could take it out and convert it into DEC, SPS, vouchers, etc. if you wish. And basically, you're earning at about, right now, the same kind of rate or value of DEC from a monetary perspective. Now, the other thing you'll see here is the stamina here on the right. This was actually just recently changed to have a maximum of 500 stamina. When the game first came out, you were limited to 200 stamina, but 200 stamina, because your stamina regenerates at 1 stamina per minute, was really only about 3 hours of idle time. Now at 500 minimum stamina, you can actually sleep for 8 hours. So basically 480 stamina without having to worry about not being able to min-max your Splinterforge game time. So that's basically an interesting change. And you might be wondering what stamina is used for. Well, stamina is basically like ECR here in Splinterforge, and basically what happens is anytime you run a battle, the mana cost of the cards that you use, including your summoners, are deducted from your stamina. So for example, when you start the game without any gems or runes, you're going to have a maximum of 45 mana worth of cards to bring into a battle. And if you play a battle with 45 mana worth of summoners and monsters, it's going to drain 45 stamina, which would then take 45 minutes to replenish. So that's kind of the concept there. But let's first start, I would say, let's go to the shop, because this is the first tab here. We'll talk a little bit about the shop and then we'll move forward. So right now in the shop, there are probably two things from an item perspective that would be interesting for a new player to understand. And those are alpha crates and enhancement bags. And these are basically items that you would purchase using Forgium here. And these would be things that enhance your hero in the game to be able to do damage and survive, and also just give you bonuses and benefits to helping defeat the bosses. And the reason why this is important to upgrade your hero is, well, simply your hero is a 0 mana hero that you can bring to every battle. So the more powerful your hero is, well, the more damage you're going to do, and damage equals earning Forgium and getting on the leaderboard spot. So this is a key aspect of the game to be able to level up your hero's equipment, which are alpha crates, as well as gems and runes, which come in the enhancement bag. Now, just a couple of things to note here. You can see here, I've so far playing free to play in this game. I haven't put any money into Splinterforge at this point. I've actually purchased 43 alpha crates and 30 enhancement bags just from my earnings in the game, just by playing the game for the last about 2.5 weeks. And basically you can see here it says airdrop eligible. And basically we can see here is, once 200,000 packs have sold, they're going to drop this elite iron helm into players' hands as part of an airdrop. And basically you're guaranteed one of these helms, legendary helms, for every 250 alpha crates purchased. So right now, free to play, I've purchased 43. So I'm basically 1/5 of the way there. And there's still, we've only sold 46,000 alpha crates so far. So we're about a quarter of the way through to this first airdrop. So my hope is here to, by the time this hits 200,000 alpha crates sold and this airdrop hits, I hope to get one guaranteed airdrop of this helm, because this helm is nice. It's legendary, gives your hero 3 armor, and has already a socket, as they can socket a gem or a rune in. Now, what we also see here for enhancement bags, similar thing, and we'll talk about equipment here, what a helm does, and all that in just a second. So I just want to show you the airdrop for the enhancement bags. Here I've purchased 30 enhancement bags. You can see here again, the airdrop for this is going to be a Vassal Mastery rune here, which is legendary. And basically the first airdrop will be after 200,000 enhancement bags are sold. So far only 8,000 have sold here, so we have plenty of time here, and I've already got 30. And again, you're guaranteed one of these legendary runes after you purchase 250 enhancement bags. So this is just something to keep in mind. There's still plenty of time to get into Splinterforge, to start leveling up your hero, getting equipment, getting runes and gems through enhancement bags, and getting eligible for airdrops here. Really some great gear that is very meaningful in this game. Now, other things you can also purchase here for Forgium include permanent stamina expansions to basically make sure that, if you wanted 550 or 600 stamina, if you're away from the game for an extended period of time, you could buy this. This is very expensive right now. I wouldn't recommend that for any new players. You can also buy, consumable potions for stamina to basically give you either 50 stamina, 100 stamina, or 150 stamina, when you need it, kind of in a pinch to get on the leaderboard or to secure your leaderboard position. And this varies from 500 to 1,000 Forgium if you need those. So it's always a good strategy, generally speaking, to have, let's say, 1,000 Forge if you can afford it in your inventory, just as a backup in case you get knocked off a leaderboard and you need to get back on, because, well, the leaderboard prizes are always going to be usually more than 1,000 Forgium, so it's definitely worth it in those emergency situations. So let's talk a little bit about the battles next and what happens here. This is a boss battle game, and there's going to be 4 bosses usually available to fight at any given time unless they've already been defeated. And these will vary and change throughout the week as they get defeated and get randomly regenerated. Now, what you can see here, you have a bronze boss, a silver boss, a gold boss, and a diamond boss. Each of those bosses have different base stats as well as number of abilities here. And you can see here they have different amounts of health as well. Now, this bronze boss, you can see that the max monster levels are capped here at 3 for a common, 3 for a rare, 2 for an epic, and 1 for a legendary, going all the way up to diamond, where basically it has max level cards, level 10 commons, level 8 rares, level 6 epics, and level 4 legendary, similar to Splinterlands. Now, each of these bosses, you can see here, like the Mighty Chicken, has just 1 ability. In this case, the random ability it was given was Force Field. For this entire boss's life, it's going to have Force Field in play, and then every time you battle it, it'll get a single random ability. Now, if we look, as the bosses get more difficult to defeat, they're going to get more abilities in addition. So if you look at this diamond boss, Talgris here, it's going to have 7 melee damage, around 6 magic damage, and 7 archery damage at 9 speed. So that's a lot of damage compared to the bronze level boss, which has, well, much less damage, 4, 3, 4 with 6 speed. So in addition to the higher stats at the diamond level, it's going to have 3 abilities. In this case, this boss has has fixed abilities of Retaliate, Shield, and Thorns, which really makes this a boss you want to attack with magic summoners and magic damage, ideally. But when you actually click on the boss and go in here, you're going to see, if we get the rules, if I go to battle here, let's see, did we not get any random abilities? It looks like they've changed it here. So if I battle this boss, it looks like they've made it so the diamond bosses used to have 3 random abilities as well. It looks like in this particular case, it's just the 3 static abilities, because in the past, when you would battle this boss, it would have 6 abilities, which was pretty tough. So it looks like they might have changed that recently. I'm actually not aware of that. But in any case, like I said, you would probably want to focus this boss with magic damage monsters, and your hero should be a magic hero, ideally. Now, what you can see here, if you go back to this boss here, we can see recent battles, and you can see like this Splinterbin user did a lot of damage, and the team that they used in this particular case was interesting. The hero is super strong here, 15 magic damage, 15 speed, 30 armor, 41 health. They're using Kitty for the speed, the heal, the True Strike, and Llama for the last stand. They just have a throwaway team in here at 15 mana here, and basically all this team will just die. It'll give last stand to their hero, and the hero is going to do all the damage here at last stand with a heal and just go to town here on the boss is pretty much the strategy. And that's why you can see why it's so important to get equipment and armor to get these kind of stats on your hero, because you can just do tons of damage. And we'll go into more of the mechanics here and on how all this works in a little bit. But just want to show you the leaderboard awards. You can see Splinterbin here, that user we just looked at a recent battle, is number 2 on the leaderboard, has done 34 battles. And if this boss was defeated right now, he would get 55,000 Forgium. So what is that worth? Well, we can do the math here. 55,000 Forgium at basically the 61 Splintoshis, I think is what we were looking at earlier, right? For Forgium, yeah, 61 Splintoshis is actually going to be worth, from a crypto dollar perspective, $33.55. So people are earning good amount of crypto, or at least in-game Forgium, that they can use to further level up their heroes and make them continue to achieve leaderboard spots. So you're probably now wondering, okay, what is all this about heroes and equipment? Well, let's first look at the heroes here. You can see here we have three types of heroes. We have a warrior, a wizard, and a ranger. So a warrior is going to use melee-based attacks, which is a sword and a shield. And then a wizard is going to use magic-based attacks here, which is a wand and a tome. And a ranger is going to use a bow and a quiver, so for ranged attacks. Now, generally speaking, there is kind of an order of, I would say, meta right now. Right now, the ranger hero is considered probably the, quote, best hero, because its weapon, short bow here, and its offhand are probably the most meta, because the quiver, and we'll see in just a little bit, the quiver's equipment's stat boost is speed, and speed is key to doing well in Splinterforge, because Splinterforge uses a turn meter based game mechanic, which means the more speed you have, the more times you get to go before like the boss goes. And the reason why that is important is because when the boss goes, because it does a melee attack, a magic attack, and a ranged attack, which can be split if you don't have taunt up, it can basically just one-shot your monsters, and that's just bad news. So you want to get as many attacks in with your heroes and your monster as quickly as possible, basically. So if you imagine a turn meter, just from a mathematic perspective, let's give an example. So I've got Notepad up here, and I'm going to try and illustrate how a turn meter based system would work. And we're just going to do the turn meter here at 0, 15, 30, 60, 75, and 90 as a start. And let's just say here your heroes, hero with 15 speed, and then you have the boss, let's say with 5 speed, and let's say I have a monster with 1 speed. Basically what's going to happen is it's like a race, right? So the hero here is going to, on the first turn, get to 15 here with a 15 speed. And let's say this is the first turn, and then this is an attack. So basically the hero would attack once as soon as it gets its first turn, because at 15 speed it completes its turn meter and then it attacks. Now the boss is going to get 5 here, and then the monster is going to get 1. Now the hero is going to go again, it's going to go to 30, and it's going to get its second attack. Now the boss is going to be, in this case, at 10 because it added 5, and the monster is going to be at 2. So now the hero is going to go again, and it's going to go to 45, and then the boss is going to go to 15. It'll actually get an attack here as a boss at 15 for the first time, while you've already gotten 2 attacks as your hero, and then your monster goes to 3. Now again, your hero goes to 60, it gets its third attack, and now the boss is going to go +5 to 20, and your monster is going to go to 4. So at this point in time in the battle, with a hero with 15 speed, you can see it's already got 3 attacks on the boss, and the boss has got 1 attack and is at 20 turn meter and needs to get all the way up to 60 to get its next attack. So you can see here, basically, we're going to continue to get a lot more attacks with a faster hero than the boss. And you can see here the monster, being a slow monster, is still yet to attack. So this is why speed in this game is so important, because you just get a lot more attacks with higher speed, and it becomes a lot more damage that you can do to the boss. So hopefully that helps illustrate the turn meter concept and why speed is the ultimate attribute in this game right now. So the next thing we'll talk about from a meta perspective for hero is the wizard. The wizard is probably the second best meta hero because, well, its damage is pretty effective. There's a lot of, summoners you can use like Valnamore, and a lot of nice magic damage monsters that are very effective. And if you look at the equipment here, we'll see, for example, I'll just go into that and I'll show you the equipment. You can see here that the offhand for the ranger is the quiver, which gives speed, which is why speed, we just talked about why speed is so important, why that ranger is the meta hero ideally. And you can see the offhand for the mage is actually the tome, and it gives health, right? So that's interesting here. And I'm going to talk a bit about the hero of the warrior. The offhand for the warrior is the shield. And if you look at the shield, the stat boost that the shield gives is armor. So why is a wizard a more meta hero than the warrior? It's because in this game, health is more valuable than armor. And why is that? Well, because health, the only thing that can damage health immediately is the magic attack of the boss, whereas the two other attacks of the boss could be deflected by armor. So melee attacks as well as range attacks can be backed or blocked by armor, and armor can be repaired. So basically, you know, your basic health here is the magic damage can always get through from the boss. So you want to have more health at all times, because some of those times when the boss is doing 7 magic damage, you need to have a lot of health to withstand those magic attacks that you can't block with a shield. They're automatically going to go to your health, and you're going to want to heal through that with a higher health pool. So health is greater than armor, and speed is greater than health, is basically the way the meta works. But again, what you can see here with the particular bosses here, there's going to be certain rule sets where, you know, the meta is, for example, this mighty chicken. I wouldn't necessarily want to maybe fight this boss with magic. I might actually want to do melee, just do a ton of damage with double strike monsters. And we'll see the recent battles here. You'll see some of the highest points here will be using not magic here, but they'll actually be using melee. They'll be using taunts with inspire, with a double strike, etc. So there's just different monsters or bosses that pop up where sometimes, even though the meta hero might be, you know, the ranger might be generally the best hero, there's some monsters that get drawn up where, well, you just want to use a different type of hero to focus on beating those particular bosses. So that's something to be aware of. The other thing from a tip and trick perspective to be aware of, you can see here, I have all of currently my best equipment on my warrior, because I'm actually right now focusing on fighting this mighty chicken, which I'm focusing with a melee build for a team. And basically all my best equipment is on my warrior. Now, if I wanted to switch and fight something like the diamond boss where magic would be important, I could just go here and actually unequip all of my equipment that's on my warrior, just basically unequip it here, take it off the hero, and then I can put it on that wizard hero free of cost. There's no charge to do that. And basically what it allows you to do is basically just have right now in the game, basically one master set of hands, feet, body, and leg equipment, and basically move that to whatever hero that you want to use. You can see here, I can equip it here onto the wizard. And this is important so you don't have to basically have 3 different sets of chest armor or legs, for example. Just focus on getting one leveled up and to your liking with the right gems and runes on it. And then you can just interchange it as desired right now in the current game mechanics. Now, your weapons and your offhands will always have to be unique, so you have to have those always on, because those are not interchangeable between the different types of heroes. So that's just a quick tip, so you don't go off and try and create 3 sets of these core pieces of equipment. You really only need one to use. Now let's talk a little bit about the cards themselves. We'll talk a little bit about some items that you'll want to be aware of. Let's talk about common items here. Let's see if I have, let's see. So boots here are the feet equipment. They give you speed. Obviously, they come in common, rare, epic, and legendaries. Legs give you health. The hands or the gauntlets give you armor. The body or the chest gives you armor. And that's basically it for the equipment. The attack types, obviously, magic damage for wizards, melee damage for warriors, and range damage for rangers. The offhands, again, we already talked about. The quiver, speed, the tome for the magic user, the wizard, health, and the shield gives armor. Now, what's interesting to note in here is each equipment has different levels of rarity. Like common here for feet gives +1 speed to your hero, has no slots to equip any items in. And if you go to rare, for example, you can see here it has 1 speed as well on a rare. Ignore the slots. I actually added those with sockets we'll talk about in just a little bit. When you go to epic, you can see here epic feat actually gives you 2 speed and gives you a socket to be able to put a gem or a rune in. And if you go to legendary, it should go to 3 speed with 1 socket as well. So that's the differences on the rarity of the equipment. And again, remember the equipment comes from the alpha crates here that you buy. You'll get random drops of equipment. You'll get 5 equipment for each alpha crate with 1 guaranteed rare or better. Now, what can you do with equipment? Well, with commons, for example, if you wanted to, you could, commons are like cards in Splinterlands, you could level those up. And basically by taking 40 common cards and combining them, you would take the common and give it +2 speed as an example. You probably wouldn't want to do that, and we'll talk about why in just a second. Again, rare here, you could do the same thing. Rare, you could take 24 rare boots and get up to +3 speed as a stat buff, for example. Epics, you could do the same thing. You could do and take 16 epic items and go to a +4 stat boost. Same thing for legendaries here. You can combine, in this particular case, 3 legendaries and go up to a +5 stat boost. Now, what you want to probably realize here, and we'll have other videos talking specifically about min-maxing strategies on the equipment, for stats, for combining, for adding sockets and stuff. We won't go into it in this introductory video because this is already running very long. But just suffice to say, be on the lookout for more of those videos talking about strategies on how to best upgrade and exchange and burn your equipment. Now, when I say burn, I don't really mean burn. I really mean more about transmuting and reforging. This is the last thing we'll talk about here before we go into battles here, which I'll pull from our Splinterlands TV stream later tonight, where you'll be able to see some battle footage. But basically what's interesting to note here is you can reforge items. You can reforge, for example, 4 commons here, pieces of equipment for 150 Forgium, and it'll give you a random rare piece of equipment in exchange for that. Now, rare, you can actually take 6 rare pieces of equipment, and I think it's 500 Forgium. You can create 1 random epic piece of equipment. An epic, you can take 8 epics and 2,500 Forgium and basically burn those to create 1 random legendary. So that's worth noting. And then what's also worth noting is when you reforge a piece of equipment from common into rare and from rare into epic, there is a 10% chance of that becoming a gold foil piece of equipment. And let me just talk a little bit quickly about gold foil and why that's important. You can see here I have a gold foil epic quiver. And basically why this is important is, well, it takes less pieces of gold foil equipment to level up your stats. It also gives a Forgium earnings boost for every piece of equipment that you have that is gold foil on your hero, which is great. It's a nice passive bonus. It's kind of like gold foil giving you our share bonuses in Splinterlands. The other thing that makes gold foils important, especially for example, this rare gold foil, is, well, you can do something here. You can actually click on the card and burn this. If I wanted to burn this gold foil, I could burn it for Forgium or Electrum. And in this particular case, We haven't talked about Electrum, but Electrum is a valuable resource in the game that is just in the game itself. And it's actually used to add sockets to your equipment to make them more powerful and make it so you can multiply the amount of gems and runes that you can add to your hero. So this is a very large amount of Electrum for a gold foil piece of equipment. It's actually like 10 times what it would normally be, I believe. We can see, for example, if we were to go to a rare, just a regular rare piece of equipment here, let's find one. Let's take this. If we were to burn this, which we don't want to do, obviously. Okay, I can't burn it because it's equipped. But yeah, just a single regular rare that's not gold foil is not going to give you that much Electrum. So these are great for burning to get Electrum, to be able to add sockets, and then obviously gold foil cards in themselves, if you don't burn them, have great value as well for earning extra Forgium bonuses as well. We'll talk about more of that strategy in a future video. I don't want to get into too much of the complexities here. The last thing I'll leave you with before we go into the battles is transmutation. And transmute, you can do the same thing for gems and runes that you can do with equipment. You can take 4 common gems or runes and reforge those into a random rare. You can do 6 rares into an epic and 8 epics into a legendary. So those are some very quick basics of Splinterforge. We're going to hop into some battle mechanics and some battle details here. I'm going to pull some battles from our stream from tonight on Splinterlands TV to illustrate some of the battle mechanics, and stay tuned for that right now. We've done 5 battles on this bronze boss. We've got almost full stamina. We got 493 stamina. So I want to get some battles in here. We're at 166 on the leaderboard, so we're nowhere close to getting any Forgium right now, but we've got plenty of battles to go. So let's try and get on the leaderboard here. So here's my strategy. These 2 bosses here, this is 4 million hit points, this is 3 million. Basically our goal here is to just get the leaderboard here, just to clear like maybe 5,000 Forgium here. This boss should be dead by the morning here in the US time, and then I'll refocus my stamina on the diamond boss. I just want to clear some quick free Forgium. This boss should be one of the next 2 to be defeated. So let's get on the leaderboard here. We got some work to do. 2689 is what we've got in 5 battles, and we need to get to 7152 to just get 2500 Forge. Let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we can do it. So let's take a look at the recent battles. Let's see what some of the high scorers are using. Not a lot of high scores here. Got a 643. Okay, so we're using some melee teams here. That's fine. All right, we can do this. We can put a melee team together here. Let's take a look at our hero. It's already equipped in the melee equipment side. Let's go ahead and create a team. We're going to go battle. We're going to choose Kitty for the heal, the speed, and the true strike. We're going to choose Kelia for the extra speed and the shield. We're going to go with Taunt because there's no Fury rule set here. So we're going to go with Kraken. We're going to put a heal and a repair in here. So we're going to go double heal Kraken with a repair for the armor. And let's put some power out there. Let's see what we can bring to bear. I want to use an Inspire. It's got Force Field, but that's okay. Let's put an Inspire out there. And let's put some Double Strike, right? Double Strike's good with Inspire. So Carnage Titan's gonna do 3 melee damage before Inspire. So Inspire will take it to 4 times 2. So that's pretty good. My Silver Shield Assassin's on cooldown right now. Let's go here and pick the Hobgoblin. How many times have you seen the Hobgoblin used, right? But because we have Taunt, right, it's not going to get damaged right away. And with Inspire, it's going to do 3 damage twice. So that's pretty good. And let's see. Let's do another Double Strike card. Let's do the Vigilator. With Inspire, it's going to do 3 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1, so that's 8 damage. It's a lot of damage, right? It's going to use up 60 mana, and we've got the taunt here. Should be fine. Let's go ahead and put that up front. I don't think it makes a difference to order, honestly. Let's just do this for the order. So we're using 60 mana or 60 stamina, 7 monsters. Because this is a bronze boss, our hero stats are going to be capped at 10, 10, 10, 10. So it'll go down to 10 armor, 10 health, and everything else will be there. Let's give this a try. Let's see what we can do. We're getting the armor. We're getting the speed from Kelia. Getting the speed from Kitty. We got the Inspire. So Kraken hits for 3 because of Force Field. Vigilator hits for 3. Plus 1. Plus Double Strike for another 3. Plus 1. And let's see, we got the Carnage Titan hit for 4. With Double Strike for another 4. And got the Hobgoblin hitting for 3. With Double Strike for another 3. Okay, looking good so far. Mighty Chicken hits our hero for 4, hits the armor, hits the Vigilator for 4, and hits our hero for 3. We do have our hero hits for 4 because of the Force Field. We get a heal from Kitty. And we should get a heal and a repair from the Merdali Guardian and the Scava Hireling. Let's go ahead and speed this up. Let's see how this plays out. I don't know if the taunt's working here. Let's see. Got a repair on our hero, hits the Scava Hireling, hits the Kraken. So it looks like the taunt's not really attracting the monster. It looks like it's just kind of spreading out its damage. That's fine. We're just gonna skip this and see how much damage we're able to do with this team. We're actually able to do only 309 damage. So that's not going to get us on the leaderboard, unfortunately. And I think the reason why is the boss had Scattershot that last battle. So that's the reason why our taunt wasn't working there. So thanks for sticking around to the end of this video. If you have enjoyed learning about Splinterforge and you'd like to see more Splinterforge content on the channel, leave a message or a comment in the video description below, and we'll have some upcoming Splinterforge content for you if that's the case, if you want to see more. And until next time, keep stacking those stats.